It's a semi-good day in SimWorld, everybody. Good morning and welcome to SimWorld. Today, I am B. Ron. Alongside me is my co-host Siege. Siege, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, B-Ron. Throwing it back to the old days. Look at us, just doing it simple. Just me and you in the booth. That's how we do. That's how we do.
Yeah. And one real quick before we get started with the show proper today, wanted to let everybody know that as we record this, we know that production crew is going through something at the moment, and we want to show support for them wholeheartedly in their fight for what they believe is right and fair. We believe a solution will be on the horizon soon, and we're hopeful to get back to a regularly scheduled broadcast and stuff soon with all our crew here on our side.
Retweet,
Yeah,
retweet. Couldn't agree more.
exactly. Let's go ahead and let's jump right into some things, shall we? This morning, the Timberwolves, man, they won their third game in a row last night against the Grizzlies, and they had a lot of help from Carl Anthony Towns, um, and but the big one, Anthony Edwards, put up 34 points. Yes, sorry, yeah, 34 points. I apologize, 34 points in that win. Then win 110-101 over the Grizzlies puts them in the first place in the West. Are you surprised to see the T Wolves in first place, Siege?
Not to be honest, I'm really not. I think this year specifically, it's kind of been coming for a while, but this year specifically, it to me, um, is the official turning point in the NBA. Kind of the changing of the guard, especially in the West. The East kind of went through that transition a little while ago when
Yep.
LeBron departed, and now as LeBron kind of winds down, all respect to the king, but as he kind of winds down, not only him, Steph Curry and the Warriors are kind of coming to their close of their dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
All of that and the change of the guard in the West has been happening. But this year is really the vital pivot point in my mind. We've seen two teams who for years and years now have been considered bottom of the barrel franchises, both in the Timberwolves and the other team who's been number one in the West for most of the season, in the Oklahoma City Thunder. Their young stars are not just young stars anymore. They are stars. They are some of the best players in the NBA now. You got Anthony Edwards, Shea. You got Chet has come out hot.
Mm-hmm.
Carl Anthony Towns. Let's talk about that kid Jalen Williams for the Thunder. I mean, he's sensational. What a steal they got when they
Yeah.
got him in the draft. So no, I'm really not surprised. I think, like I keep saying, this year is the year that we're really seeing um, the new generation kind of take over the NBA. And nowhere is it more prominent than in those top two spots in the West.
Yeah, and I agree with you because for a long time, for as long as I can really remember, the Timberwolves have always been one of those teams that have been, like you said, bottom of the barrel, not really good.
Yep.
They've had decent players, but they were never able to get over the hump and take that big leap. So to see them now in first place for me, uh, surprise maybe isn't the word I would use. Um, I would say it's more of a happy feeling because it's always good to see those teams that struggled for a while, finally get their shine recognition, especially when they're playing well.
Yep.
42-17, 22-6 at home with the win last night, 6-2 in their second game of the back to backs, and they're 4-0 at home in this streak right now.
Yeah. I mean, they look phenomenal, and they're doing it in what's the tougher conference this year. I saw something recently, Viron. If you look at it, I believe what I saw is that the sixth and seventh place teams in the West would be the second place teams in the East right now. That's crazy. The difference in between records between the Celtics and the second place Cavs is larger than the difference between the first place Timberwolves in the West and I think the eighth place team, which I don't remember who it is, team in the
Wow.
West, which is wild. And those young teams are dominating that conference right now.
Yeah, that eighth place team you mentioned in the West, the Kings right now,
Yep.
33 and
Another young team,
25.
really good young team.
Yeah, exactly. Let's switch back to Carl Anthony. I'm sorry, I keep saying Carl Anthony Towns. Anthony Edwards' performance in that game last night. Like I said, 34 points in the win, but he scored 17 of those 34 in the third quarter. And he was a perfect 11 for 11 from the free throw line. Can't get much better than that, Siege.
No, you really can't. I mean, Anthony Edwards is a superstar. He full on already is a superstar to me. I love the mentality he plays with. I remember a while back he said that thing about, I don't really take rest days because these people are paying money to come see us, and you never know if this is, the only game they could go to that year or in their
Mm-hmm.
lifetime. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you never know the situation people are in, and I'm gonna give him a show. And I love his mentality. He's a great guy. He's a fun guy, and he's a hell of a player. It's sensationally talented.
Sensationally talented, absolutely. But again, he did have some help. Naz Reid off the bench gave
Nah,
19 points off the bench, man. And I keep saying his name, but I'm gonna say it actually this time and mean it. Carl Anthony Towns, the big cat, 13 points, 11 rebounds in his return game, by the way. Because he missed the Tuesday win over San Antonio. Uh, but again, he had some help too, which even better.
yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you this: I'm a huge Nas Reed fan. Absolutely massive Nas Reed fan. I don't like that he went to LSU. Not my favorite, but he's so good, and he's in a prison on that bench. He's great. He's a great role player on the bench, but he could be a starter for a lot of teams. And you got the COVID spreader Rudy Gobert starting in front of him, which is whatever valid. But free Nas Reed. That's all I'm gonna say. Free him.
And what? Just to keep going with it here. Minnesota, they trailed by 14 in the first quarter, and then later on 11 in the third. But once they took that 88-85 lead into the fourth, they never trailed again. And we that's a sign I think of a good team too. Is when you do get a lead, you don't let it go.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Being able to play with a lead is honestly an underrated value in a team. People always talk about, can you play from behind? Can you play with a lead? Can you
Yeah,
protect the lead? Can you get out to a hot start and protect that lead? Not take your foot off the gas, not, get complacent, things like that, because every team in the NBA has talented players that'll, put their foot on the gas if you slow down. And Timberwolves have kind of shown that they can do that.
yeah. The big thing in that comeback really was the 9-0 run in the third quarter that they went on, which included 7 straight points from Edwards. So again, he did his part. The other guys on the team did their part too to help out, and that's what it's all about. That's what it takes to get to the next level at the SWBA. And let's switch gears. Talk some SWFL. Zach Wilson, uh, with the Jets, but maybe not for long because the Jets did give him the okay to go and seek a trade. Um, one,
Yeah,
one,
good
one
luck.
yeah, I was gonna say yeah. One, does this kind of surprise you at all? But also, two, where do you think he ends up? Because there are a few teams who are in need of a quarterback, maybe even a backup quarterback. I feel like. So, what are your thoughts on all this?
Um, well, no, I'm not surprised
Yeah, not either.
that they gave him the go ahead, um, at all, because like if I was the Jets and Zach Wilson approached me like, "Hey, I want to go look for a trade," I'd be like, "Sensational! You're doing our work for us. That's awesome." Um, Look, Zach Wilson, he's a great guy. He's a fun guy. I don't see what team is going to trade anything for him. I don't even know if I'd give up a seventh round pick for the guy, to be honest.
Mm,
I would rather take a chance on a very late round quarterback in the draft. Um, yes, there are some teams that need starters. That being said, if you look at the free agents available right now, or that are going to be available, whatever, yeah, not everyone can get the guys at the top of the list, but there's so many guys. Let's say not talking the guys at the top of the list, like the Kirk Cousins and the Jacoby Brissett's and even the Russell Wilsons or whatever, um, who might be available. But let's talk even. I mean, I'll take Brian Hoyer over him. I'll take
really?
Tyrod Taylor. Yes, I'll take Nick Foles. Um, I'm pretty sure Geno Smith is about to be available, if I'm not mistaken. Um, I think there are plenty of guys I would go and pick up. And again, I personally would take look and all love to Zach Wilson. I think he's just young and has some growing up to do, but I'm not giving up any real assets to trade for him. If anything, I'll wait until the Jets cut him eventually and go get him if I want him. But I think there's plenty of other options. even bringing Julian Edelman out of retirement to play quarterback for me, I think is fine. Yeah,
Man,
I personally have no interest in Zach Wilson, but I'm
that's fine.
also not the best judge of talent and development for quarterbacks. So I'm a basketball guy. I love football, but so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe someone will take a chance on him and develop him better than the Jets could, because we all know the Jets aren't great at developing quarterbacks. So I don't know.
Mm.
Me personally, there are other guys I'd rather take a chance on.
Well, look, I gotta say, in a lot of ways, I agree with you. I also was not very high on Zach Wilson when he got drafted. I didn't see what teams people saw in him at that point in time. So it's weird kind of being on this side of the fence for a change, because normally when I say something like that, it goes the other way. So it's weird being right in that regard. But obviously, obviously it always sucks to see a player come in and not play well, and in his short time with the team, even on a team like the Jets, who were dysfunctional in different regards here. But I really don't know where he goes either. I mean, there are teams that need quarterbacks. The Patriots are looking for one. Uh, the Cardinals, if you're not thrilled with Kyler Murray, maybe the Cardinals go in a direction. The Raiders, again, Falcons, if you're not looking to draft a quarterback, or pick on a free agency, Falcons looking for one. Um, the Broncos, maybe. There's options there. I just don't know. I don't know. Even the
Maybe he'll
Vikings,
find a
perhaps.
home. Maybe he'll find a home. Maybe he'll find a. Nah, I'm sorry though. If I'm the Cardinals, maybe I'm going to get Zach Wilson if I want to tank for another top draft pick. Um, but I see no reason if I'm them, unless it's a personal thing with Kyler Murray, which it very well could be at this point, that it's just kind of an unrepairable relationship.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm saying to myself, Zach Wilson could give us a better chance to win than Kyler Murray.
That
Honestly,
I agree with you. I'm saying
yeah,
I agree.
there are certainly spots, and there's certainly look. You mentioned the Falcons, and the Falcons are not great with their choice in quarterbacks. So that might be something that they say, hey, let's go from Desmond Ritter to Zach Wilson. That could do it. No. Personally, I would rather them continue to play Taylor Heineke and give him more of a chance. But I actually think we might see a trade for Justin Fields today. So I think this quarterback landscape is going to shake up. I don't know
Ooh.
if you saw, but most major sports books actually took odds for Justin Fields' next team off the books this morning, which usually signifies that a trade will likely be completed today.
Ooh, interesting. Keep an eye out for that one
And
on the
I think the
SWFL.
Falcons could actually be a great suitor for Justin Fields. I think there's a lot of talent on that team. They got a new coach. And I think if they were to look, I'm not as low on Justin Fields as a lot of people are. And I
I'm
think
not
if
either.
he could get to Atlanta with all that talent and maybe the coach is a little better this year, I think that could be a great situation for him and for my fantasy team. So
100%, man. Well, look, let's wrap it up with some similar prep talk, shall we? Last
let's.
night, even though the games weren't broadcasted, the game of the week still happened. Heartland
It did.
and Cascadia and Kevon Jackson and them boys outthrew Benari James, and they ended up winning against Heartland at home, no less, too. Um, does this win cement them in your mind as the de facto best team in the Neo region, with Heartland now losing their third in a row?
Um, I mean, yes,
They're
I do
13.
think.
They're 13
I
and
think
5 now. Heartland again 10-5 with the losing streak, but and they're back in first place in the Neo region. But does that make them the best team in your opinion?
yes, I think it was between them and Heartland. I mean, in third place, you got the reigning Trays, who have been decent this year, been pretty good. Japheth Towns is that guy. But in terms of best team, I don't think there's really a question to me that Cascade is the best team. There was a question before last night, but you got to take head-to-head matchups for what they are.
Yeah.
And at this moment, Cascadia is the better team. It wasn't, it was a battle, but at the end of the game, it wasn't a close game. Kevon Jackson cemented himself as the best player in that game last night. He came out, did his thing, 26 points to Benari's 19, which points aren't all that mattered, but he also got the win in that. Yes, to me, not only has Cascadia cemented themselves as the team to beat in the Neo region, I think it's fair to say that it's between them and Philadelphia at this moment for the team to be in all of SimWorld Prep.
like that. I like that. I'm still gonna take on that part real quick before we get out of here. Still taking Philadelphia and BC East as teams to beat. I do like Cascadia as a third option though. They're my top three teams to beat for sure, for sure. Uh,
Yep.
and I do have to agree with you. I think Cascadia is the more complete team between them and Heartland right now. So we'll give them the nod as the overall de facto best team in that region, in the near region. Not just because their record says so, but overall, I do believe that's where they fit right now. But that's gonna do it for our show today. Thank you very much for joining us here on SimWorld today. We appreciate you listening and the support for us and our production team as well through the strike. But we're gonna get out of here. Remember, as always, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. You can know when our videos and shows and streams and games go live for you all. And until next time, remember, SimWorld is the only place where you can see the game, be the game. We'll see you tomorrow.
Hey, those boys. Hell yeah.
Yeah.